Ladies and gentlemen, batteries, bardishes, and noble lords, welcome to another Timoredbeard video. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about going medieval and whether you should get it. Going medieval is a new colony management game made by Irregular Corp. Very similar in terms of games like RimWorld and Nomoria and Dwarf Fortress. They play out very similarly. Obviously, Going Medieval is very early on in early access. They have a fantastic roadmap coming up, but the content at the moment is fairly minute. However, the bones are incredible, and it's got a lot of promise. So I'm gonna show some of my stream footage that we played recently on stream, and of course you can come and watch the stream. We'll be playing more Going Medieval coming up over at twitch.tv/Timo_Redbeard. And if you do like this video, hit that like button, consider subscribing, don't forget to caress that notification bell. Otherwise, let's jump into this. When starting up Going Medieval, there are two different ways to affect the difficulty. You can choose your scenario style, which is either standard, peaceful, or survival, with standard being your slowly building up difficulty, where you will get attacked and there will be raids, and it will get difficult or more difficult as you get richer and have more people, but it scales pretty linearly, pretty comfortably. You have peaceful, where there's no attacks at all. That's purely just a settler management sim where you can help build a settlement of your dreams, I guess. And then there's the survival mode, and the survival mode massively increases the rate of enemy raids and also scales the difficulty of those raids on a much steeper curve. Then of course you can actually choose the difficulty itself, and it goes through 5 different difficulty modes, with a very easy, a medium, a difficult, and a hard. And the difficulties match up pretty well. We played a few rounds on survival hard, which is the hardest difficulty mode you can get at the current state of the game, and we wiped a lot. It's hard. You know, your first attack, you have like 3 guys with semi-okay weaponry, and the game will throw like 8 geared, like iron wielding, like iron armor, steel weapon wielding berserkers at you on the first attack, and you're like, oh, okay. Archers are a must. Archers are an absolute must. Once you go select your difficulty though, you then go into the character creation screen, and the character creation screen is very RimWorld-esque. You have a bunch of skills, an ability to randomize it. There are different perks and different backstories which affect the skills and also apply other modifiers to the character. And if you have played RimWorld before, this character creation is going to feel very much exactly the same. There isn't too much more to say about it. Then, once you've created your characters, you get to select your settlement. Now, currently, for each seed that you place in, there are 3 different settlement options. There's mountain, there's hillside, and there's valley. And they focus on different strengths and weaknesses. In the valley, you'll find lots of fertile farming ground. You'll be able to get all the food you could possibly want. You won't have to worry about winters whatsoever, and you will be absolutely fine. However, the valley is also the most open, and as such, you don't have any sort of natural defenses for protecting against raids, which means you do need to build up a full wall straight off the bat. And this can be difficult if you're playing on the harder difficulties. That first raid that comes, if you haven't got your wall up, you could find yourself losing almost all of your progress straight off the bat, depending on how you play the defense. The hillside is a mix between the valley and the mountain, which means that it does still have quite a lot of fertile ground, but it also has some raised areas, some natural defenses, and it has more commonly accessible iron and salt and the like that you would normally find mostly in the mountains. Now, normally, you know, through my testing, it seemed like hillside would probably be the best way to go. But I find that actually, with the way that the maps are currently generated, it's not the case. You're actually going to be much better off going with either valley or mountains, because instead of getting like a good bunch of both of the good of both the valley and the mountain, it seems like it's more a case of you're just playing in the valley with less fertile ground. It doesn't seem like you get much of the mountain. And admittedly, I've only played through 4 different seeds at the moment, or not played through, but I've tested 4 different seeds. That I might have just gotten really unlucky, but as it goes right now, that's how it seems. Mountain is fantastic for the early stages of high difficulty. Lots of natural defenses, lots of limestone everywhere, which means you can get those stone walls up very, very quickly, which can really, really help protect yourself against the attacks. However, food and winter is very much an issue in the mountains. You need to make sure you are growing and stockpiling food immediately. First job, as soon as you're in the mountain, place down a research table, get agriculture researched, find whatever fertile ground you can, and get growing. You need to stockpile food heavily because your crops aren't going to be yielding as much, and you're not going to have as much space to have big yielding crops. But otherwise, the mountain seems like the most fun. Lots and lots of iron, lots and lots of salt, lots and lots of stone makes building a large, prosperous settlement very fun. You just do have to be worried about the whole food situation. Once you are in the game, it plays out wonderfully. The graphics are gorgeous. It does feel like RimWorld on a Z-axis. You have your management pane, your jobs pane, your schedule pane. They look like they are almost directly straight from RimWorld. And that's not a bad thing. It's almost impossible to be original in this day and age. Everyone's done something sometime. And what these devs have done, they've gone, look, RimWorld has got it right. So let's do that. We can make new stuff elsewhere, but in terms of these situations, RimWorld got it absolutely right. So we're going to do the same thing. So it does feel very much like RimWorld. And if you have come from playing RimWorld, going medieval is going to be very, very easy for you to pick up. There are new things, there are different things, but the core bones are very RimWorldy, which is a great experience for those of you that like playing on high difficulty and have come from high difficulty RimWorld. You can jump straight into this and go full speed. The learning curve is really easy if you've played RimWorld before. Now, when it comes to going medieval, and more specifically when it comes to should you buy it, I'm going to go through some pros and cons, and I'm going to give my honest opinion, and I'm going to let you guys form your decision from that. So, pros. The game feels amazing. The bones are incredible. What's going to be possible in the future is going to be really, really awesome. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a large modding community around this game. Now, the combat style is also very, very enjoyable. The way that they've programmed the combat to work is excellent. You can support choke points with spears, so you can have a heavily armored tank holding a choke point, and either side flanking the tank can be 2 spearmen that are able to attack through the tank's choke to attack the enemies on the other end. I love that. It's something that I feel like is important in medieval combat games because that was how combat happened. And yeah, really, really like that. The game is beautiful. There's no denying that. The art style is gorgeous. It's very reminiscent of maybe like Banished in a way, which is a good thing. Banished was a gorgeous game, and this is a gorgeous game. Obviously, when it comes to cons, It's just that there's not that much content there at the moment. If you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you can probably eke out 20 to 30 hours. Just because of how tough it is to actually kind of complete everything. If you're playing on standard, you will probably complete the content in 7 or 8 hours. And if you're playing on peaceful, then you're really kind of sandboxing it. So the content is, you know, so-so. But there isn't any trade or anything yet, which is kind of important to peaceful sandbox playthroughs. However, the roadmap is very promising. And I think what's going to become of this game is great. There is one big con that I do want to talk about, and that is the drafting mechanic. At the moment, if you draft your melee warriors to a certain place and you say, stay there, I've set you up to hold a choke, this is great. As soon as they see and become within a certain range of the enemy, they'll just charge them. And I've had it a few times now where my guys have just charged straight out of the choke that they're supposed to be holding, and they just throw away any sort of advantage. That sucks. But otherwise, looking at this game with context of it being a very early access game with a lot of work to come, the game is so promising. And in its current form, I'll give it a 8 out of 10 quite happily. Whether you should buy it, however, is how you want to invest in content. If you really want to just get to grips with the bones of it and just play it again every time a new content patch comes out from the roadmap, then absolutely buy it. Couldn't recommend it more. However, if you feel like if you pick it up, you're going to want to play it, and then you're probably not going to want to play it again once new content comes, I say don't buy it. Not yet. Because there isn't that much content, and it'd be doing a disservice to the game. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Please hit that like button. Consider subscribing. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out. Take care.